Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the state of Tennessee, the county sheriff. Today date is early Monday morning, October 24, 2016, time 3:16 a.m. But first, I thank you all my family, support, and continue encouragement and support. I'll continue to keep myself employed right here in the Memphis tri-state area, and I'll continue to further my education at Memorial College online, pursuing my social degree, studying business administration, concentration marketing. And the music you hear in the background is African hip hop. Excuse me, that's African hip hop. And you know the radio station being online and I'll turn the volume down. Now, on today's video, we're going to continue to talk about African traditional religion. African traditional religion is being taught in institutions of higher learning, meaning colleges and universities in sub-Saharan Africa. You can earn a bachelor's degree, you can earn a master's degree, you can earn a PhD studying African traditional religion. Where sub-Saharan Africa, well, we're going to look at the map. Now this, this here is a language distribution map. It shows you all the groups of people that live on the continent of Africa and the language that they speak and what part of Africa they live in. Now, the blue color, that represents the Afro-Asiatic. The yellow color, that represents the Nilo-Saharan. The dark orange color represents the Niger-Congo A. The light orange color represents the Niger-Congo B. And this is the bottom half of the map. Now, as you see on the side there, it tells you what the colors represent. That blue color, that blue color, it represents the Niger-Congo A. The blue color represents the Afro-Asiatic. Represent the Afro-Asiatic. The yellow color represents the Nilo-Saharan. Now that dark orange color, that represents the Niger-Congo A. The light orange color represents the Niger-Congo B, the Bantu. Now the green color represents two groups of people, referred to as the Quay people. They are the pastoralists. The Quay people are the pastoralists. The Sand people are the hunter-gatherers. The Sand people are the hunter-gatherers. Now, the island of Madagascar, that purple lavender color. The Austronesians. The people that live in Indonesia are the Austronesians. They left Indonesia, migrated to the island of Madagascar. They settled and colonized the island of Madagascar. They are not the original inhabitants of the island of Madagascar. Now, this map here is a Niger-Congo language map. It shows you the primary branch Volta Congo, the South Volta, Bantu, Bantoid, beside Bantu, your other East Benu Congo, your West Benu Congo, your Quay. Then you have your North Volta, Crew, Sanufo, your Gerd Volta languages, your Adamant, your Bungian language. Then you have your other primary branches, your Kordofan, your Mandi, your Atlantic. And when I printed this, when I copied this map out the print, it a little part of the bottom got cut off. The Dogon is underneath the Atlantic. Now, this is another Niger Congo language distribution map. Shows you the Atlantic, the Wolof and the Fule, the Mandi, Bambari, Malinki, Mandinka, Dayule, the Crew, your Gur, Moorlang, your Quay, Bali, Akan, Ewe, your Dogon, your Ajor, your Adamant when you Bungie, Jabaye, Banda, Zandi, your Kordofani, your non-Bantor, Yaru, Igbo, your Bantor, Fang, Tiki, Lingale, Mongo and Kundu, Congo, Choke, Lube, Luganda, Rwanda, Rundi, Sukume, Kikuyu, the Bantu, Swahili, Makuwe, Inyanje, Bembe, Shone, Tisange, Northern Soto, Zulu, Southern Soto, Kosa, Tiswane, and Dange Umbundu. There are many other Niger Congo speaking groups of people that are not listed on this map. Now we're gonna continue to encourage each and every one of us who are descendants of Niger Congo, who are not living on the continent of Africa, but because excuse me, and the reason why we're not living on the continent of Africa, is because of the East African slave trade, or referred to as the Arab slave trade, or the West African slave trade, or as they refer to the transatlantic slave trade. Uh, we need to get in direct and indirect contact with the Niger Congo on the continent of Africa to inform them about this problem that we have, this street gang, this drug gang here in the United States of America, in in the city of Chicago, and the city of Los Angeles, California, and also uh, Canada, Mexico, Central America, South America, Caribbean, Europe, uh, and anywhere else on this planet. We have a serious gang problem uh, that needs to be addressed. Now we know we've been going over the definition of the word gang. We know that this is violent and criminal activity, and we look up the history of the word gang. We know that's an old English term and an old Norse word, and we also look up the word mob, and we get the definition of the word mob. We get the definition of the word thug, and we know that that's an Indian word, and people who were religious in India were being uh, victimized and terrorized by some criminals, and in India, and that's what they were. They were thugs, and that's an Indian word. And we look at the word goon. We know that word goon is mainly came from a story, uh, uh, but the word also had a criminal meaning, uh, a person who goes and beats up other people, and commit violent acts against other people. And excuse me. Here in the United States of America, the United States federal government, federal, state, and local governments trying to pass laws against the street gangs, drug gangs, and so forth. And the United States Department of Justice uh, passed laws. You know, the United States government, the Congress, pass laws, and laws become, they become law. And the Department of Justice, they enforce these laws, and the comprehensive anti-gang initiative. And the law is designed to do something about the problem, about the gangs. Young people being recruited for the gangs, and then you have the adults who are members of the gang, and things of this nature. And the United States Department of Justice, they have a variety of offices and bureaus that are trying to deal with this street gang, drug gang problem. And you had the Office of Justice Program, you had the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention. And that's part of the comprehensive anti-gang initiative. And what's the other? And the United States Department of Justice, or the Project Safe Neighborhoods, is the anti-gang initiative. That's what it is. It's the anti-gang initiative. It's trying to reduce gun violence in the United States. And it was established in 2001. The Bureau, the Office of Justice Program, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, which is the United States Department of Justice, and the Project Safe Neighborhood. The community COPS, the United States Department of Justice COPS, Community Oriented Policing Services, the United States Department of Justice. The COPS office, please, what is it, COPS? Now COPS is an anti-gang initiative. It's a competitive grant program designed to advance public safety by providing funds directly to multi-jurisdictional task forces made up of state, local, or tribal law enforcement agencies to address gang activity. These task forces must be comprised of federal, state, and local partnerships. So that's the Community-Oriented Policing Service, United States Department of Justice. Now, what's that? the National Gang Intelligence Center. To help curb the growth of gangs and related criminal, the FBI, at the direction of Congress, established the National Gang Intelligence Center in 2005. The National Gang, the National Gang Intelligence Center. What do they investigate? Terrorism, counterintelligence, cybercrime, public corruption, civil rights, organized crime, white collar crime, violent crime, weapons of mass destruction, news, publication, most wanted, major cases, bank robbery, Indian country crime, jewelry and gem theft, gangs, art theft, violent crimes against children. The National Gang Intelligence Center. And and also the uh, the National Gang Center, the, the National Gang Center contributes to reductions in gang-related crime and violence by providing national leadership, information to policymakers and research and resources, training and technical assistance to practitioners nationwide. And they have outreach, worker safety tips, National Gang Center, parents, the parents. If you're a parent, grandparent, niece, your aunt, uncle, whatever. Parents Guide to Gangs. The National Gang Center Parents Guide to Gangs has been updated. This guide is designed to provide parents with answers to common questions about gangs to enable them to recognize and prevent gang involvement. Street outreach and the Office of Justice and Judicial, uh, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, comprehensive gang model, street gang intelligence course, online training. Then they got a video why you join gangs. The National Gang Center is doing a lot of work to address the gang problem. The United States Immigration Customs Enforcement, the National Gang Unit, recognizes that transnational criminal street gangs represent a significant threat to public safety and communities throughout the United States. So there again, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement National Gang Unit. Now, Homeland Security Investigation. Uh, that's what they do. They investigate in transnational criminal street gangs. And now the United States Department of Justice, that Department of Justice Organized Crime and Gang Section. The Organized Crime and Gang Section was established in late 2010 as a merger of the former Organized Crime and Racketeering Section, the Gang Unit, and the National Gang Targeting Enforcement Coordination Center. The combined uh, Organized Crime and Gang Section pursues a multifaceted approach to combat all forms of organized crime targets. So there again, the United States Department of Justice dealing with the street gang and the drug gang. Uh, uh, Now, the National Gang Center, they have the compilation of gang-related legislation, and there's a National Gang Center, and now there's a PDF that they left on there on the website on the compilation of laws, and it gives you a definition, federal and state definition of the term gang crime, and gang number. Now, federal law currently federal law defines the term criminal street gang as an ongoing group, club, organization, or association of 5 or more persons that has that has one of its primary purposes the commission of one or more of the criminal offenses described in subsection C. The members of which engage or have engaged within the past 5 years in a continuous series of offenses described in subsection C, and C, the activities which affect interstate or foreign commerce. Now let's go to state law. A review of current state law for various state definitions of the words gang, gang number, and gang crime reveals the following information. Gang. 43 states and Washington, D.C. have legislation that defines gang. 34 states define a gang as consisting of 3 or more persons. 27 states include a common name, identifying sign or symbol as identifiers of gangs and their definitions. 36 states refer to a gang as an organization, association, or group. 25 states in Washington, D.C. use the term criminal street gang to describe a gang. Every definition includes criminal, illegal activity or behavior. Gang member. Definition: 14 states have legislation that defines a gang member. 7 states have a list of criteria, some of which a person must meet to be considered a gang member. Of those, 6 states require that a person must meet at least 2 criteria to be considered a gang member. Gang crime definition: 31 states define gang crime activity. 20 states refer to it as a pattern of criminal gang activity. 25 states enumerate the exact crimes that are to be considered criminal gang activity. So there, click back over here. And so you can go to the compilation of gang-related legislation on the National Gang Center website, and it gives you the gang-related legislation by state. Every state, all 50 states and United States territory, and gang-related legislation by subject in every state and United States territory, and gang-related municipal codes by subject: curfew, daytime curfew, definition, drive-by shooting, enhanced penalty sentence, eviction, gang membership, gang participation, gang recruitment, graffiti tools, juvenile gatherings, law enforcement training, loitering, miscellaneous, parental responsibility, public nuisance, truancy, and weapons. And now, also, when we deal with street gangs and prison, street gang, drug gang, the Department of Correction, federal, state, local departments of correction, security threat group. Now, when you deal with a security threat group, the definition of a security threat group is a formal or informal group of prison inmates. They are basically the prison gangs. That's what they refer to as people who are in gangs, who are incarcerated. They're in the federal, state, and local jails. They are referred to as a security threat group. And it says law enforcement officials use the term security threat group to refer such gangs in order to take away the recognition that the term gang connotes. Okay, let's see. Now we want to also inform everyone about hazing. Hazing. Hazing is a crime. Hazing is a crime that's committed in many college fraternities and sororities and other organizations. Having is a hazing is a rite of passage. However, hazing is against the law. It's against the law. In legal terms, hazing is the abuse a student must endure to gain admittance to an organization. It includes not only physical harm such as beating or whipping, but the mental harm that might result from forcing a student to behave in a humiliating way. It can include forcing students to drink dangerous amounts of alcohol or even engage in some activity that is against the law. It says hazing is a crime. Most colleges and universities have policies against hazing. Most include penalties for anyone who hazes a student and state laws address the issue as well. The harshness of criminal charges usually depends on whether a student suffers actual physical harm. If the student doesn't, hazing is typically a misdemeanor. If the student is hurt, the crime is a felony in most states. The severity of the sentence depends on the extent of the student's injuries. And you can go to lawyers.com. And also, consent is not a defense. The law generally makes no allowances for the fact that hazed students give at least implied consent to the abuse. In most cases, they voluntarily do it for a chance and gain admittance to the social organization of their choice. Their consent to hazing is not a defense, nor is it a defense to say that the organization would have admitted the student anyway, even without consent to hazing. See, that what a lot of these street gangs and these drug gangs do. They like it says in the definition, they get beat up and whipped, and that's what they say about a lot of these sororities and fraternities. They you get hazed, and these fraternities and the sororities are nothing but a dressed up gang. It's a gang. That's what it is. It's a gang. You ain't got to get into no argument with no person. That's what a fraternity and a sorority is. It's a gang. So so that's what we in the process of trying to do is get everyone into this state of mind that the federal, state, and local government is not tolerating gangs. No matter what you hear out on the street, somebody can be out there talking about, your rights and all that. When you see the National Gang Center and you see the compilation of laws that every state, The federal government, you see what the federal government is doing. All these departments and agencies, anti-gang task forces, and the National Gang Intelligence Center, and all these different. Every department has an anti-gang unit in the department at the federal level. Then every state is addressing the issue of gangs. Every state and every locality, every municipality at the county level and the city level. They're making it perfectly clear that they are not tolerating gangs. Now, the federal government, the United States Department of Justice, or the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, is addressing the problem with the street gangs and the drug gang with the children. And there are a lot of programs that they support. And like I said, it's going to be a continued a lot of anti-gang activities. For example, when you got ideas, if anti-gang concerts, anti-gang fashion shows, uh, it's a variety, anti-gang basketball tournament or flag football, uh, anti-gang softball game, for the young people, and they, keep them from being violent and not joining gangs and things of this nature. And bowling tournaments, take the children to the bowling alley and they go bowling. And, it's just a variety of ideas that everybody have in your community, in your state, here in the United States of America. And people in other countries can get in contact with the Department of Justice. They can get in contact with the FBI. You may have information that might be vital to help combat the street gang and the drug gang problem. Somebody living outside the United States in another country, in Mexico, in Canada, in Central America, South America, in the Caribbean, in Europe, in the Middle East, in Africa, anywhere on this planet. You can get in contact with the Department of Justice or any department of the United States government or state or local, and to get assistance with the street gang and the drug gang problem, and just a variety of things that can be done to help people internationally deal with the street gang and the drug gang. Just like the United States government has the United States military all over this planet. All over this planet, the United States military all over this planet. And allies with many nations on this planet. And being that we are allies with so many people on this planet, so many nations on the planet, that includes the Department of Justice and the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, the National Gang Center, the Immigration and Customs, and the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. You understand? And so nobody living outside the United States of America should even think that the United States government would not assist them with the gang problem. When you see the National Gang Intelligence Center, that's what it's there for. National and transnational. The Organized Crime and Gang Section, which is part of the Department of Justice. So there's no reason for anybody to be trying to talk to somebody here in the United States of America and trying to tell you that the United States government, they're not trying to tell me that, I'm doing something right, walking around with tattoos and 5-point star and a 6-point star and turning your head to the left and the right. When you see the state pass laws about the way you dress and about tattoos and about associating with other people, three or more, that was the state, that was your state is telling you, you committing a crime, and they are not tolerating your foolishness. They are not tolerating your criminal activity. It's not being tolerated at the federal, state, or local level. It's not being tolerated. It's against the law. It's a crime. So and that includes all these sororities and all these fraternities. There are anti-hazing laws addressing the problem of hazing that you fraternities and sororities be doing, because it's already understood that it's just a dressed up gang on these college campuses and in the community. It's a dressed up gang. So no one should be in the state of mind that the government is telling you that what you're doing is right. The federal, state, and local government is telling you that the gang is wrong. It's illegal, and it's violent, and it's a crime, and it's wrong. But like I say, there's gonna be a lot of anti-gang activities. All this stuff that be hearing on the radio, all this gangster rap and all this trap music, all this stuff. You don't have to accept that stuff. It's gonna be a lot of anti-gang, activities, anti-gang music, anti-gang fashion shows, anti-gang television program, and things that had to be looked at is that the businesses, the corporations, they pay taxes. See, this is serious. So when you say Department of Justice or the FBI, they pay taxes. People here in America pay taxes. You pay federal tax, and some people in some states pay state taxes, and then you pay local taxes. See, that's really why this anti-gang activities is so serious. See, it's serious. People pay taxes, and when you have a comprehensive anti-gang initiative, when you have the United States Department of Justice, and when you have an Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, how can you have all that? It's because of taxes. How can you have a National Gang Intelligence Center? It's because of taxes. See, how can you have a National Gang Center? It's because of taxes. Taxes is the basis of all this anti-gang, anti-hazing that we're talking about. Taxes. So there are a lot of anti-gang activities that you got some ideas, spoken word, all type of anti-gang activity at your school, at your church, your mosque, whatever your faith may be. Some you come up with an idea. But remember one thing, that in your community, in your state, and here in America, there are a lot of businesses, corporations, small businesses, partnerships, and just business. And they all pay taxes. They all pay taxes. They all pay taxes. So when it comes to anti-gang activities, you see BET, you see, for example, BET, TV1, MTV, they pay taxes. They pay taxes. McDonald's pay taxes. See, Walmart pay taxes. Your local grocery store, they pay taxes. They pay taxes. That's the thing that you always remember. When it comes to anti-gang, anti-hazing activities, individuals, individuals like your mom or dad, your sister, brother, or aunt, uncle, grandma, granddad, they pay taxes as an individual. Then the businesses pay taxes. See, that's the important thing that you don't lose, that you don't forget. Taxes. Because none of the things that we're talking about would be possible without taxes. That's the key to the whole thing. Taxes. The local, state, and federal law enforcement couldn't do anything without taxes. So like I said, you come up with some anti-gang activities. Don't forget taxes, anti-hazing, whatever you think ideas you come up with. Don't forget taxes. Don't forget taxes. Now we're gonna do some reading, and before we end today's video, and we're gonna be reading from the book titled West African Traditional Religion, written by Dr. Joseph Omaseda Evelelu and Dr. P. Adenumo Gopenu. And we read from chapter 7, God and Society. And we're reading from 7 for more back. Oh, no, not more back. Yeah, more back. 7 for more values. Sin and its removal. In many of the creation stories we examined early in this book, we found that God from the beginning maintained communion and fellowship with man until the latter sin, and God placed a barrier which cut man off from the unrestricted bliss of heaven, and in fact he was isolated from God. This is saying that for man to have fellowship with God, he must obey. The disobedience of man can be seen as sin against God. All sin is fundamentally the performance of acts of which God disapproves. It is man's spontaneous act of disobedience to God. He is made for obedience, but that obedience must be spontaneous, because God compels neither obedience nor disobedience, since He has given man the measuring rod of freedom. Though God made man in His own image and for His fellowship, it is of the very essence of human personality that man should be morally free. But when man throws away God and listens to the seductive voices that call him away from his maker, the decision taken is his own, and his act is essentially his own. Thus, sin is seen as coming between man and God. It is in disharmony with the will of God. This is the point Avalelu is making when he says in African communities there are sanctions recognized as the approved standard of social and religious conduct on the part of individuals in the society and of the community as a whole. A breach of or failure to adhere to the sanctions is sin, and this encourages the displeasure of deity and his functionaries. Sin is therefore doing that which is contrary to the will and direction of deity. It includes any immoral behavior, ritual mistakes, any offenses against God or man, breach of covenant, breaking of taboos, and doing anything regarded as abominable and polluting. We cannot speak of sin in isolation. It has got to be related to God and to man. God is regarded as the founder and guardian of morality. To disregard God, the divinity, and the ancestral spirit is to commit sin. Likewise, to disregard the norms and taboos of the society is to commit sin. We should now examine the concept of sin among some ethnic groups in West Africa. Among the Mende, there is a close connection between sickness and wrongdoing. The society has its laws and regulations. The breach of communal regulation must be confessed, or sickness or some other form of retribution will follow. When a person is sick, he is usually asked whether or not he has anything to confess. For example, it is forbidden for a man to have sexual intercourse with his wife's sister or any of her relations. It is believed that any person that violates the law of incest will be punished with sickness. Usually, such a person has a sense of guilt after breaking the law, and he must immediately confess to the priest, who is the only person that can prevent or cure the sickness that may follow the breaking of the law. The sin is not only the concern of the guilty party, but also of the members of the family. In consequence of this, the members of their family in the neighborhood and the offenders are ritually washed publicly and then beaten by the officiating priest. A heavy fine may also be imposed on them. Certain things are regarded as equivalent to adultery in Mende ethnic. Such things include shaking hands with another man's wife, sitting on the same mat with her, and borrowing a pipe from her. They are regarded as veritable channels of committed adultery. Also among these people, respect for parents and elders is highly sanctioned. It is a thing forbidden to be rude to elders. The Kono condemn murder. It is believed that a person kills another, except in war, he will be punished by God. By being denied a place in the abode of the ancestors, he will be sent to a place named the knee, skin eating place. There the inhabitants are without food, and they hunger day and night, so much so that they have to eat the skin from their knees. It is believed that God sees all wrongdoers, and he metes out justice to them according lightning, barrenness, and death are regarded as means of God's punishment. The Aboman believes that when he sins, he makes the higher powers frown. Patricide, incest, stealing the yams or sheep, climbing a palm tree by a woman, and killing sacred animals are regarded as offenses which will be punished by Ale, the earth goddess, and the ancestors, who are the guardians of public morality. When a person commits any of the crimes, he must approach a priest who will perform expiatory sacrifice for him. It is not atoned for the offender or any of his relations is sure to receive some punishment. Thus, if lightning strikes a man or his house, people believe that he or a very close relation has committed an offense that has not been confessed or atoned for. Difficult parturition is considered a punishment for a woman's infidelity, and she must confess immediately to facilitate easy delivery. Furthermore, it is believed that wicked people die hard, and they usually recite with great necessity the various crimes they have committed before they finally die. The can hold that God's greatest taboo is evil. Inyami is regarded as the ultimate originator and upholder of moral law. He rewards the righteous and punishes the guilty. An evil man, though may have long life, cannot successfully escape God's punishment. God also punishes corrupt wickedness by withholding rain. Personal faults are punished with sickness, bad luck, or death. For the Yoruba, man's character is of supreme importance in public morality. Character in Yoruba is called Iwe. If a man has good character, he will be in good relation with his fellow men. His character makes for good social relations. It is laid upon every member of the community to act in such a way as to promote always the good of the whole body. The Yoruba will say of a person, Iwe, Milayi, Yaniyo, Deo Lijo. Your character here on earth will pass judgment on you. In other words, it is the character of man that deity judges. Thus, the Yaru put great emphasis on character. And good character, among other things, means for them chastity before marriage, hospitality, unselfishness, kindness, condemning wickedness, truthfulness, protection of women as the responsibility of men, keeping covenant, observing taboos, respect and honor for the age, condemning, stealing, falsehood and hypocrisy, avoidance of incest, and condemning the taking away of another man's wife. Anyone that does all these is regarded as not only doing the will of the society but also for God. In the same way, a person who does to the contrary regarded as violating deity's ordained behest, and it will be sure to be punished. The Yaru believe that no sin committed in secret is hidden from God. That is why they say, Emokun Jule, by obey Kori obey Oki Iwo. You who steal in the cover of the night, know you assuredly that if the earthly king does not see you, the heavenly king God does. This is another way of saying that within the family, there's a retributive principle instituted by God himself to the effect that sinners will not go unpunished. In general, West African people believe that morality and sin go together. Morality enhances God's fellowship and maintains the well-being of the society, but sin isolates man from God and disrupts his well-being as well as that of the society in which he lives. We may thus affirm that the immediate consequence of sin is seen in the breaking of man's fellowship with God, which is the foundation and sustainer of his well-being. Furthermore, people believe that it is God who ultimately punishes sin, though he may use other agents in the execution of his purpose. God is believed to be the impartial judge. His judgment is regarded as absolute, sure, and inescapable, and that is because he is ever present, all knowing, and all seeing. The Yaruba describe him as the searcher of heart, who sees both the inside and the outside of man. We have already mentioned some of the anti-wickedness divinities who punish moral offenders on behalf of the supreme deity. For example, the divinity that punishes with lightning is Songo, Yaruba, Sokabe, among the new, Ibdioso, among the Igbo, and Emedoa, among the Igbo. God's wrath or divine punishment is represented in this divinity, but there are other divinities that represent ethical purity. We are Ele among the Igbo, and or we say Ele among the Yaru. These concepts show man the need to be pure and of good conduct and character, so that it may be well with them. In taking leave of this section of the chapter, we must point out that God's reaction to sin is not just to punish it, though he is the supreme judge who judges everything and whose judgment is certain. God has given room for reparation and the removal of sin. That is why when a person is conscious of his sin and is convinced that he has committed a crime or an offense, he does not wait until the sin is discovered. Discover a punishment by the supernatural powers. He immediately takes steps to remove the sin. An example of how a sin is removed is described above, where we point out that a guilty person and his family among the men they have to undergo ritual washing and beating by a priest. We may add here that other steps can be taken to remove sin, depending on the nature of the sin and the locality where the sin is committed. However, When the sin is in the form of defilement or uncleanness, purification is the remedy. Purificatory rites are undertaken to cleanse the cup by washing or sprinkling. The outward cleansing represents the inner cleansing and the sin with the pollution believed to be removed. When the sin is in the form of abomination or a crime against divinity, propitiatory sacrifice is undertaken for the removal of the sin. For example, when a person or a house is struck by lightning, it is believed by the ruler that the victim has done some evil thing. He must consult immediately the chief priest of Sango, Maybank, who will perform the necessary propitiatory sacrifice. Above all, a sin must be confessed before any of these steps is undertaken. Confession of sin thus gives a man a new life and unloads the burden of his mind. When he confesses, he accepts his guilt and prepares to make reparation and to start to lead a new and unstained life. It is why in many West African localities, it is believed that once a woman in difficult labor confesses her paramour before or during pregnancy, delivery will be accelerated. Finally, although to most West African peoples, the statement to obey is better than sacrifice is fundamental. We find that we are now living in a world where sacrifice is increasingly being regarded as better than obedience. This is because many of the old customs are disappearing and a host of them can no longer stand the strain of modern life. We shall come back to this in the last chapter. I'm going to stop right there. And we just got to read sin and its removal. And we read from 7 for more bads, and we read from chapter 7, God in Society. And we read from the book titled West African Traditional Religion, written by Dr. Joseph Omasay Ebalelu and Dr. P. Adalumo Dupengu. We're going to continue our reading from the book titled African Traditional Religion, definitely written by Dr. E. Baloja Andamu. We read from chapter 5, the structure of African traditional religion. And we read number 5, the practice of magic and medicine. From all that we have discussed or discovered so far, it is clear that since the dawn of consciousness, man has been confronted with a sense of need with which he knows that his own unaided power cannot cope. The compilation and riddles of life have been such as urge upon him the need for succor, for deliverance, and for mastery over environmental circumstances. I'm going to stop right there. We're going to come back on my next video. We're going to come back. So I'm going to stop right there. We've been reading from number 5, the practice of magic and medicine. From chapter 5, the structure of African traditional religion. We've been reading from the book titled African Traditional Religion, a definition written by Dr. E. Beloja Adowu. We're going to continue our reading from the book titled African Religion and Philosophy, written by Dr. John S. M. Beaver. We read from number 6, God and Nature. And we're reading B, God, Animals, and Plants. Animals and plants constitute human food, and their importance is obviously great. African peoples have many religious associates with them, some of which are linked with concepts of God. These are myths, which tell how domestic animals originated at the same time or in the same way as man himself does. The Zulu narrate that both men and cattle sprang from the same spot, and God instructed men, saying, "Let them be your food, eat their flesh and their milk." If lightning strikes cattle, people say that God has slaughtered for himself from among his own food, and this is taken to be a blessing upon the village where it occurs. The Akambe hold that cattle, sheep, and goats accompany the first human beings whom God lowered from the sky. The Messiah firmly believed that since God gave them cattle from the very beginning, nobody else has the right to own cattle. As such, it is their duty to raid cattle from neighboring peoples without feeling that they are committing theft or robbery. In one myth, the Nuer narrate that once God offered men a choice between cattle and rifles, the Europeans and Arabs chose rifles, but the Nuer and Dinka chose cattle. We'll stop right there. And we just been reading from B, God, Animals, and Plants. And we've been reading from chapter 6, God and Nature. And we've been reading from the book titled African Religion and Philosophy, written by Dr. John S. M. Beaver. We're going to continue our reading from the book titled Concepts of God in Africa, written by Dr. John S. M. Beaver. We read from part 4, God and Man. I'm reading number 16. Read number 16, worship, sacrifice, and offerings. And read animals and items used for sacrificing and offerings. Miscellaneous items of a wide variety are used as sacrifices, offerings, and gifts, or for religious rites, and others are regarded as sacred. We may mention these and concepts are used or uses attached to them as follows. The Hyrex is sacrifice is dung off by the Akambe. Meat from animals killed and hunted is offered by the Bakwe and Ale. Black cloth and money are offered by the Babende in addition to foodstuffs. The Edo offer chalk to God. The Ganda offer 9 loads of bark cloth and 9 cowrie shells to their high-ranking Babende of the waters. In addition to animal sacrifice, the Gamire Magi offer axes. The Gayame offer blood, but neither is victim nor recipient is specified. The Haye sacrifice unspecified animals to God and offer food and drink to the spirits. The Kipsigis make unspecified sacrifice and offer. The Kante offer unspecified goods. The Lozai offer their agricultural implements to be blessed by God before the cultivating season starts. The Merli sacrifice or offer fish, but the recipient is unspecified. The Shone offer money, ornaments, snuff, and tobacco. And the Yaru are said to use all kinds of animals and nearly all types of foods and drinks for sacrifice and offer to their vast number of divinities. The Zulu do not sacrifice to God, but when lightning strikes cattle, the people say that God has slaughtered for himself from among his own property. The Bushmen regard the mantis as sacred. The Hariro keep in sacred fire in God's temple, which is not allowed to die out. The Karume regard the leopard as sacred. The Lili take the water pigs as endowed with spiritual power. The Lubare believe that God using the hyena to show his intention, and the Shone consider the zebra to be sacred, associating it with their worship of God. Our information on the use of sacrificial blood is very little. If their quadrennial sacrifice, the Batuwe collect the blood of the sacrificial goat, put it in a big pot and leave it at the sacrificial site. The LA offer blood to God in connection with murder. At the Jah pre-rain ceremony, the senior men drink blood from the ribs of the ox, which has been sacrificed, kneeling while drinking. The Lubare use the blood of sheep when two estranged brothers get reconciled. And sometimes the people offer blood and prayers to God. The Gayame offer both blood and beer, but neither the animal whose blood is used nor the recipient is mentioned. When the Shaluk sacrifice an animal, they think of its blood as going to God into their national family. And Yake, we'll start right there. And we just got to read animals and items used for sacrificing and offerings. We've been reading from number 16, worship, sacrifice, and offerings. And we've been reading from part 4, God and Man. And we've been reading from the book titled Concepts of God in Africa, written by Dr. John S. and B. I'm gonna get ready to end today's video. Again, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the state of Tennessee, it's in the county of Shelby. And thank all my family, my support for your continued encouragement and support. I'll continue to work on my entertainment and my music interest. And we're going to continue to emphasize anti-gang, anti-gang and hazing because it's all together. Anti-gang hazing, and we're gonna continue to encourage uh, anti-gang activities. And don't forget taxes. Don't forget taxes. And to my next video, you take care of yourself, and I wish each and every one of you the very best.